How's it going, Minnesota? Data here, and welcome back to the Minnesota Wild franchise mode, episode 7 here with the 34, 21, and 7 Minnesota Wild for part 2 of season number 2, the 2021-22 regular season, coming off last season as Stanley Cup champions, and we are on the road to defend that once again. We're looking good in our division. Avalanche right ahead of us, Blackhawks right behind us. In the NHL, the Golden Knights are ahead of us. The Panthers are running away with the NHL, 88 points. But when we last left off, we had some questions here on this team. We were simulating very well. Kaprizov just destroying everybody in the goal category, 37 on the year. Monahan, Parise, the first line is great. We acquired Elias Lindholm from the Calgary Flames, which was a surprise move. He has scored 23 points in 32 games since coming over. Fiala got put back onto the second line. We had some playing around with the wingers. He's had 38 points this year, looking good. Mike Hoffman, really weird season from him with only 11 goals. And then so on and so forth. Of course, the big move from last episode, the offer sheet for Mikhail Sergachev. We got him signed to a 5-year, $4.85 million deal. He has just been fantastic for us, scoring 34 points in 59 games, even plus minus. Marcus Johansson's on pace to break his career high goals of 24. He's looking good. And as we scroll down, Leon Botter and Zdeno Chara, best friends forever on the third defensive pairing. And between the pipes, goaltending has been okay, but we're going to probably look at a backup in this episode. So I left a lot of questions to all of you concerning what should we do, and I had some great answers. The comments in the last one, there are some funny ones. Louis Malak giving some love to Leon Botter, calling him Orville Redenbotter. I like that. That could be a new name. We got the Bread and Botter. We have Bread and Botter Pickles. We got Orville Redenbotter. That's nice. I'm really much looking forward to having Botter on this team long term. Another comment coming from Anthony here. He says, all you got to do is get Goudreau next year and my Flames will be finished. So that's what we were talking about. We're saying, do we trade back Elias Lindholm to the Flames? You know, we don't feel good that we kind of took Lindholm away from them. We already took Monahan away from them. That wouldn't be super realistic, but I have come to a conclusion on that, on what we're going to do about Elias Lindholm, and I'll get to that in just a second. First, before we get into the big thing, there was a little thing we had to deal with, which was the backup goalie. We had a few possibilities for the backup, and I like what Joel the Juke says. He said, I have a gut feeling that Cal Peterson is the best option. He only has 1 year left. He's super flexible if you want to re-sign him or not, or you can go back, let him go to free agency and roll with Stalock and or Kakkonen as the long-term backup. For the value that he has at the overall that he has, I think Cal Peterson is definitely the way to go. He was in my top 3 of options pretty much, and the Kings have a lot of goaltending in their system, plus he's on the block, 83 overall, playing in the AHL with great numbers in the AHL as well. So hopefully those numbers translate into some NHL success, but definitely cannot look past him probably being the best goalie in the AHL at the moment. So we're going to try and pick him up momentarily, but now we got to go over a big comment from the Discord server. More than assistant GM, this guy is like my chief of staff personal advisor, Hobbsy. Big comment talking about different options that we have at the moment. We had been talking about the possibility in the Discord of Elias Lindholm moving up to the first line right wing, should it become apparent perhaps later on that Zach Parise can't keep up with the first line. But the problem with doing that is that his line fit is pretty exclusive for the second line. So putting Elias Lindholm on the first line wing wouldn't be terrible, but it wouldn't be optimal for chemistry. We'd want to keep a Lindholm on the second line long term. And we said that Patrice Bergeron over on the Boston Bruins has second line fit. So maybe Lindholm moves to the wing on the second line. Maybe Bergeron comes into the team. Maybe we go for a winger upgrade. Do we send Lindholm back to the Flames? Do we keep him? What's going on with Hoffman? So there are some good questions. In his first comment here, Hobbsy was talking about that Lindholm has to be second line or gone. He doesn't fit anywhere else. We could get Bergeron in a rental. And we could even do both, wherein we keep Lindholm and acquire Bergeron. We move a guy like Marcus Johansson in the Bergeron deal, along with a pick or a prospect, and then the lineup would look something like this, which he says right down there, and that translates to something like this. Just replace Johansson with Patrice Bergeron. So I don't mind that idea. He went on to leave another comment though, and this is the really good one where he lays out 3 different options that he thinks that we have at the moment. So go ahead and pause this if you like, but I'm going to read through most of it. He says that Boldy and Rossi will crack the team team next year. Don't sleep on Sokolov either, because he's only 2 overall behind them, so he's down here. He's a 76, and he does have medium top 9 potential. So yeah, that's true. He could crack the lineup relatively soon. Which makes the rental the most likely scenario. However, only 1 rental should be acquired in my opinion, as there won't be room for everyone if you get 2, unless Lindholm goes. So there's a few options here. He says option number 1, Lindholm back to Calgary, get Eriksson Ek and a pick, flip Eriksson Ek and a pick to Boston for Bergeron. I did an experiment of this. We could get Eriksson Ek and a second for Lindholm, and then Eriksson Ek and a second go to Boston for Bergeron and a 4th. So that's a possibility, and that allows Bergeron to take over Lindholm's spot on the second line, leaves room for a Johansson upgrade, and we can get Kessel or Kovalchuk. Lineup looks like that. Option 2, keep Lindholm, add Bergeron. Lindholm stays, picks/prospects get moved for Bergeron as a rental. One of Johansson or Bennett could get moved as well, or you can keep them both for depth. Lineup looks something like this. Option 3, third line winger upgrade. This one is the most simple of the 3. Flip Johansson or Bennett along with a pick if necessary, and get Kessel or Kovalchuk for the third line. Lineup looks like this. Also think you should grab a backup goalie. And for next year's lineup, it'll depend on what happens at the deadline, how the players perform and progress, who's available in free agency, and the growth of Rossi/Boldy. There may also need to be a decision between Hoffman and Fiala, but that seems like a problem for another day. So thanks so much, Hobbsy. That is a great comment. That is exactly what we're looking for here on the channel, and that is why you're the chief of staff here. You and Hobbsy and Joel the Jukes are like the Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. If I'm the president and Kyle Wood is the vice president, that's probably how my cabinet is looking. So with those options understood, I think I'm pretty much going to go with a hybrid of options 2/3. So I would not mind a winger upgrade and Patrice Bergeron at the same time, but here is my final decision on Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm, who we flipped over to Calgary for, who we got from Calgary for Alvin Burrows here, who's at a 51 overall with that elite potential, could be a great prospect for them, and Joel Eriksson Ek, who has scored 8 goals, 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points in 33 games with the Flames. I believe that we are going to send Elias Lindholm back to the Flames after this season. So it's kind of like a rental type of thing. It's kind of like a loan, as you'll see in FIFA or in the soccer world, where you have a young player, a young striker, or just a young player in general who's not getting enough first-line minutes. You know he has the potential. You send him on loan somewhere else to get some first-team stuff, get a full 90 minutes on the pitch, and then we can evaluate after the season. So I'd like to move Lindholm back to the Flames to restore order after the season, but just as much as it didn't really make sense to take him from the Flames, it wouldn't make that much sense to trade him back to the Flames 30 games after the deal when everyone's playing, especially when Elias Lindholm is playing well in this team. So I think that keeping him for the duration of this season, going on a playoff run, trying to get a cup, is the move. But at the draft, we are going to move him back to Calgary no matter what, and we'll get our prospects, we'll get our other players, we'll use free agency, but we're not going to keep Lindholm on this team long term. We're going to move him after this season, but he will stay for the rest of this one. Now, for the winger upgrade, we said that both Phil Kessel and Ilya Kovalchuk are options for us. Phil Kessel certainly has a lot more value than Kovalchuk. He's an 83 overall, still has the 5-star shooting. He fits the third line and all power play lines, so that's very tempting for Phil Kessel. However, over on the Bruins, as well as Patrice Bergeron, there is Ilya Kovalchuk. So that could be a 2-for kind of deal. We don't need to make separate deals. We can just go after Kovalchuk, who's all the way down here in trade value. So I think that makes more sense just from a trade value point of view. He fits the second line, so hopefully he can do the third line, but he does fit the power play as well. Last year when he came to this team at the trade deadline, he scored 11 points in 18 games, and then in the playoffs he scored 25 and 24 and won the Conn Smythe as we were Stanley Cup champions. So it would be great to bring back Kovalchuk, and I think especially him being on the same team as Patrice Bergeron just makes a ton of sense. Even though Kessel would be the better player to have, I think it just makes a lot more sense to go after these guys. So Patrice Bergeron, he's been on the Bruins his whole career, but they're now 28, 29, and 3, and they're looking to sell as he's in the final year of his contract. 59 points in 60 games for him, always gets it done, a true professional, one of the best defensive players in the entire NHL. and I think it would be great to get him. So the cost for Bergeron and Kovalchuk would not be too expensive, but it's still trade value nonetheless. We're a bit thin on draft picks. We only have a second and a third this season of notable picks here. So we're going to have to move a roster player for sure. Either Johansson or Sam Bennett have to move. Neither of them have a ton of value. Johansson is playing better. He's going on a career pace here for goals with 19 and 62. His career high is 24. So if we did keep Johansson, he'd be pushed down to the fourth line, which is not great. Meanwhile, Sam Bennett's already on that fourth line, but he's not really great on it either. He has the potential. Both he and Johansson are signed for another season after this one. Johansson just making under $3 million, Bennett at 1.75. We're also got to think, what would Boston want in return? Would they want Marcus Johansson, who's going to be 31, making about $3 million next season, 81 overall, or they want Sam Bennett, who's 6 years younger, 1 overall higher, and has that top 6 potential, and he's signed for one more season at 1.7. I think they'd probably want Bennett, to be honest. I know it works better for us, but also being honest, I think Bennett makes more sense, because I think that's who they would want to get back on the team. So that's definitely still not enough value right there. We have to still move some other pieces. We could give them Carson Soucy, who's still making one more season of $2.75 million. He's kind of just going to be buried in Iowa, so that's why I love Carson Soucy, but I don't really think he has much place on this team. And the Bruins could use someone for their top 6, I think. They have a top 6 at the moment, but Vlasic and Byfuglien both getting old. Byfuglien injured as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he retires. So they could use someone better in that top 6, either for depth or just to actually play full-time. So I think that makes sense to dump Carson Soucy as well. But we're still not there yet. We got to throw in some juicier pieces than that. Wouldn't want to move him, but I wouldn't want to move any of these guys up here. All these prospects are kind of untouchables in my eyes, so I think it's going to have to be more draft picks than anything, because Dewar won't even add much trade value if we were to move him. We could trade one of our goalie prospects, actually. That would probably make more sense. Darius Tan, 6th round pick in 2021, has the medium starter potential. I think that makes sense. They want a goalie prospect, and we have an abundance of them, so that makes sense. And now we just have to throw in a pick as well. And then I think we pretty much get this deal done. I didn't want to trade our 2nd round pick. How close are we with a 3rd? Still not quite there. Oh, what? They would do that? Oh my goodness, they would do that. For a 3rd. 6th, no. Okay, but for a 5th, they would do it. But the San Jose 5th, they would do this. Oh, wow. That's a good thing we checked. So the 5th round pick from San Jose instead, we get to keep our 2nd and our 3rd, and we take back Kovalchuk and Bergeron from the Bruins. So thank you, Carson Soucy. Thank you, Sam Bennett. Darius Tan, I wish you the best in your career. You are off to the Boston Bruins, and that is a big deadline deal for the Stanley Cup defending champions. Let's make some roster moves here, and then we will make one more move. All right, so we're like $2 million over the salary cap at the moment, so I don't know why they let me make that trade if I was going to be over the salary cap, but whatever. We're going to go get Cal Peterson over here. But now it's telling me we're not under the salary cap, so I don't know what's happening, but I think Alex Stalock is the move. If we could bring him back next season and he could keep being a backup, he has the fringe starter potential, I'd like to keep Alex Stalock, but the big problem is the guy's 34 years old. You know, like he could drop to backup potential. He could easily be a 79 overall next season. If he's a 79, then he's definitely not coming back because I'd rather have Kakkonen. He's been with us for a very long time. Since 2016-17, he's been with the Wild. He's had a decent career, and he's been okay as a backup. Just that I think I'd rather have Peterson right now, and then if Kakkonen doesn't work out, we'll get somebody else. But looking the next 1-2 seasons, not even long term, just the next 1-2 seasons, Alex Stalock's getting up there in age, and that's not going to work. Could we move him 1-for-1 for Cal Peterson? No, that's not going to happen. That's okay. I'll give you a 4th round pick this season and a 6th round pick in a couple seasons. There you go. Trade accepted. We believe this transaction will contribute to our success. Thank you, Rob Blake. Okay, so Alex Stalock, thank you for your service as well here. We're going to miss you here in Minnesota. We're glad we got you that Stanley Cup ring, and now we're going to try to run it back with some new players. So, of course, the lines are all messed up. I'm not even going to fix them because after the trade deadline, there's a glitch that makes them all get best lines again. So I'm just going to best lines it. We're going to simulate just one game, and then we're going to come back after that and fix the lines. So here we go. Keep current trade block. Here we are at the trade deadline. Yeah, we might as well enter the trade deadline. I don't believe we're going to be making any deals after those 2 trades. We could have waited until oh, the Flames have Gaudreau on the block. The Flames are just selling everybody. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hopefully Elias Lindholm has a team to go back to next season. Oh, no, no. Maybe we keep... No, we can't. We can't. We'll see if Gaudreau and Giordano even get moved. But Crawford, Subban, Bailey, Domi, Parenko. A lot of big names out here. Eric Stahl's on the block. Hold on. Did it say that we're interested? It says we're interested in Hurdle and Stahl. No, we're not. So who are these propaganda lies that are coming out here? Trade offer. A first-round pick and Ryan Suzuki for Ryan Murray, John Merrill, and Josh Lievo. Why would I do that? If there's anyone that I'm going to trade, maybe I could trade Josh Lievo, actually. If there's a team that wants him, I could trade Lievo. He's just taking up money for no reason because we ended up having too much depth. Where's Lievo? Here he is. How does Mike Hoffman have no trade value at all? Huh? Lievo, 7th round picks. I can get 7th round picks from a few teams. You know what? Why not? Let's just get a 7th round pick here. From the Capitals. Yeah, send him to the Eastern Conference. Josh Lievo to the Capitals for a 7th round pick. Thank you. Clear up a little cap space. Why not? Just get him off the books. And I think that'll be the only deal that we make here on the deadline day. And we'll just call it. We'll just exit because I'm not going to sit here for 20 minutes and wait to see everything that happens. Okay, Christian Wolanin or Wolanin going on waivers here. High top 6D, 78 overall. It's not bad actually. You know, that's not bad for depth. I know we have a lot of defensive depth, but I would like to have him in. I wouldn't mind having him in Iowa. That's not a bad deal at all. So we'll just simulate this first game against the Kings here at Staples Center. And it is a 5-2 win. Fantastic. So now we can go in and fix the lines. Any trades happen, actually. Any big trades that we want to take note of on the deadline. Thomas Hurdle going to the Arizona Coyotes. Tristan Jarry going to the Bruins. Really, for Vlasic, Bowie, and Simmons. That's a good trade for the Bruins, dumping some big-time salary. Petrie, Derek Brassard, and Casey Cizikas from the Canadiens to the Panthers for Serdif and a 2nd. Broberg to the Devils. First round. The Hurricanes ended up dumping that first pick in Suzuki for Bailey, Pulak, and Mayfield. Wow. Coyle and Bufflin to the Hawks for Noel and Kurashev. Parayko and a 4th to the Senators. Jared Spurgeon moving from the Blues to the Rangers. Our good friend Jared Spurgeon along with David Perron for Matthew Robertson and Michael Agostino. Any other moves? Corpi Salo to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Frederick Anderson to the Buffalo Sabres. There's a starter for them. And then there's our move. So Johnny Gaudreau, Mark Giordano, neither of them moved, which is good for Calgary's sake. Good thing they didn't. And those are the trades that are here at the deadline. So let's fix up the lines and see what we're looking for our final push to end off the season. So the only way that I can get under the salary cap is if I send Sanford, Gauthier, and Kakinen all down to the minors through waivers, and then I get to call up Leon Botter. So unfortunately, I guess that's what I'm going to have to do with this broken system, which said I was like $2 million under the salary, but now I'm over the salary. If I call up Botter, I can't even call up Botter because it's going to put me... Okay, whatever. Hold on. Send everyone down. Everyone down. Is there even waivers after the deadline? I think we're fine. Everybody goes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Honka can also go down. Botter comes up. Okay, they let us do that. Good. All right, so I think this is how we're going to be rolling into the end of the season and into the playoffs. First line, Kaprizov, Monahan, Parise, +3, always getting it done. No need to touch that. Second line now, brand new from last season, that's for sure. Elias Lindholm on the right wing, Patrice Bergeron down the middle, and Ilya Kovalchuk on the left. Ilya, welcome back to Minnesota, the state that you had so much success in. Patrice Bergeron playing on his first team aside from the Boston Bruins in his entire NHL career, and Lindholm just here for the rest of this season most likely because Fiala's got to move up. Third line, Fiala, Danault, Greenway. I want Greenway and Fiala both in the top 6 next season, so that's likely replacing Lindholm and Kovalchuk, and hopefully Rossi replaces Bergeron. Something like that. Bergeron was on an expiring deal. He's likely not coming back. Fourth line, Johansson, Bonino, Hoffman. Now, this is where it might be unpopular. Mike Hoffman has a great line fit in the top 6, especially on the first line. Bottom 6 does not fit at all. but I cannot justify moving Kevin Fiala down to the fourth line when Fiala has been playing better than Hoffman, 17 and 21 versus 11 and 28, and gives the third line a +1. I also can't rationalize putting Greenway on the fourth line when it would make a -1 on the third line. So Hoffman finds himself on the fourth line because no one else can really play there aside from Kovalchuk, and I'm not putting him there. And to make up for that, I'm giving him first unit power play time, but it's tough for Hoffman. And I don't know if he's even on this team next season, because I haven't been impressed with what he's been giving me. And if Fiala and Greenway can take over for Kovalchuk and Lindholm, then Hoffman may not have a spot on this team, making another $7.8 million just to score 11 goals. Last year he scored 30 goals, so I was hoping that would be some more, but not seeing that at the moment. Marcus Johansson, still, unfortunately he's getting buried as well in the fourth line. But he's been here before, and hopefully he can excel. Defense stays the same at Suter, Murray, Sergachev, Merrill, and Botter Chara. And Elvis starts with Cal Peterson backing him up at an 83 overall. No scratches since the salary cap won't allow us to have any. And Iowa looks like this at the moment. +3 in the top 9. With Sanford down there now. Gautier's down there. Honka's down here. Kalen Addison still getting the +5 in the first unit. 28 points for him. And Kakkonen will be starting with Hunter Jones back. Oh my goodness. Great numbers from Hunter Jones. He'll be backing him up. 23, 11, and 5 with 8 shutouts and almost a 2 goals against average through an entire 41-game season so far. What? That's crazy. Good job, Hunter Jones. Hopefully a future backup, maybe even a starter on this team. But we do have some other good goalie prospects. That is yet to be seen. So let's get it done, my friends. Let's do it. With Patrice Bergeron and Ilya Kovalchuk now in the lineup, that's really going to help us. Special teams, by the way, they're on here in the second unit. And the penalty kill is monstrous. Both +1 units and everyone just high overalls. So I think the special teams should be amazing. Just to make note that at the moment here, we are 5th in the NHL with 77 points. We're scoring a lot of goals at 3.29 a game, probably best in the NHL, second best at the Capitals. And power plays at 21.1% and penalty kills at 83.2%. So just put that in your heads and remember it. Let's get this done with the new lines ready to go in San Jose. They're 26, 35, and 2. Great team to start off against. Let's get a little confidence booster. Let's do it. We're 35, 21, and 7. Let's go for back-to-back President's Trophies. First period, 1-0 for the Wild for Zach Parise and Thatcher Demko in nets. And we didn't win the President's last year, I don't think, but we did win the Western Conference. Second period, 3-2. Borowiecki and then Eric Stahl in the power play against his old team, but then Kevin Fiala and Kirill Kaprizov come right back. It's 3-2 Wild, up by 1 here in the third period. Eric Stahl, man. Oh, Blichfeld ties it up at 3. Love me some Eric Stahl, but could not reacquire him. Couldn't even keep him last offseason. Wanted way too much money. Game's tied at 3 with under 10 to go. Shots are quite close. 25-24 in our favor at the moment. Power play with under 5 to go. Cannot capitalize on it. And the Sharks will push us to overtime. Let's see if the overtime lines can do it. Bergeron's out there. Kovalchuk's out there. Can anyone end it? No, we're headed to a shootout where we win it. Kirill Kaprizov gets the winner in the shootout, and we take it 4-3 the final. You love to see it. 40 goals for Kaprizov on the season now. 71 points through 64 games. Let's get some simulation done into the month of March. And what's the team we can go see here? Washington Capitals are a very high-scoring team. Let's go see them, barring anything else happening on the way there. Mason Shaw's fully healed. Great. He's already down there. Another guy who has some very nice potential in our youth system. 5-4 overtime loss and a 2-1 shootout loss. That's 3 games in a row that go beyond 60 minutes. 3-2 loss to the Stars. Avalanche 4-2 win. All right, back in the win column. Let's go. Detroit Red Wings, 5-3 loss. They're a good team. These are some tough matchups. 3-2 overtime win. LA Kings, they're not a good team. We lose 3-2 against them. 3-2 loss. Whoa, what's going on over here? 5-3 win. Every game by 1 goal. Let's go see Dallas, actually. They have 40 wins. They're right ahead of us. Everybody okay out here? What's going on? Patrice Bergeron, 9 points and a -3 through 11 games. The plus-minus is a bit weird. Not sure why it's like that. Hoffman hasn't really done anything. Ilya Kovalchuk. What's going on with Ilya? 6 points, -3 with 5 goals. 3 power play goals in 11 games. Come on, Ilya. Show me that gas in the tank. You still got it. And Cal Peterson, oh, okay, he's 0-0-2. He's played very well, but 0-0-2. He has just been unlucky. Numbers look great. Just, where's the scoring? Come on, boys, where's the scoring? Let's go. At home against Dallas. They have one more win than us, but they have also 8 more losses than us. No overtime losses. Watch this game go to overtime, though. Here we go. First period, 1-0, Kaprizov. Bang. He's closing in on 50 goals. Second period, 1-1. Shots 23-11, but Denis Gurianov ties it up over on Elvis. 1-1 here in the third period. Doubling their shots. Not anymore. And then finally, thank goodness, it's a power play goal from Kaprizov. But then Hintz ties it up. Kaprizov, I think that's his 49th on the season. Get the Hattie, Kaprizov. Monahan power play. Let's go. That's 2 power play goals here in the third period that put us ahead by 1 once more. 3 minutes to go. Hang on to that 1-goal lead. Doubling, more than doubling Dallas's shots, and we take it. 36-16 are the shots. But of course, Ben Bishop stands tall and Elvis just falling apart. 2 goals and an assist for Kirill. 1 goal, 1 assist for Sean, and 2 assists for Elias. As that is now 49 goals on the year for Kaprizov, closing on 50. Let's see him get 50 against Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. There's a new goal scorer in town, Alexander, and he's going to show you number 50 at home on home ice. Let's do it. First period, 3-2, and there it is. In the first period, Kaprizov makes it 50. Of course, Josh Lievo opened up scoring against us, of course. Kuznetsov on the power play, Orlov there, but then Monahan with 12 seconds left brings us back within 1. 3 goals on 9 shots against Elvis in that first period. Second period, 4-2, TJ Oshie on the power play. We're down by 2 here in the third period. Power play early on. We kill that off. Power play for us now, and it's a power play goal. Ilya Kovalchuk, that's like his 4th power play goal. Beautiful. We're back within 1 against his old team as well. He played a little bit on the Capitals. Can anyone tie it up late here? Where is that top 6? And Daniel Sprong. Oh, man. That's going to be it for that one. We drop it 5-3 against the Capitals. Elvis, man, you're falling apart. What are you doing, Elvis? How come you're falling apart? Like, this is a big game against the Blackhawks now. This is a big game against the Hawks at United Center. I'm putting Cal Peterson in nets for this one. Elvis, man, 908 save percentage. You're falling apart out there. Cal, you're looking good. You're between the pipes. Let's do it. Hawks are 41-30-4, right ahead of us in the West and in the division. Let's do it. First period, 0-0. Second period, 1-1. Elias Lindholm on Binnington for us. Murphy on Peterson for them. Shots 26-14 in our favor. We get so many shots, but we're not clinical enough on net, I suppose. And then the defense is just lacking at the moment. Doubling their shots, but Dylan Strome makes it 2-1, even though shots are 33-16. Come on, boys. There we go. Kevin Fiala on Dubnyk, who's in nets now. Dubnyk, 2-2 with 5 to go. Devin Dubnyk, former Wild starter, and we are headed to overtime. Shots 44-18, but Devin Dubnyk is going to just stand tall right there. Come on. Shootout. 46-21. 46-21, and we drop it in the shootout. Kaprizov scores for us, then DeBrincat and Boquist. You're kidding me. Come on. Why aren't we scoring? We're getting the shots. I can't... What am I going to do to change the lineup to make us shoot more? I can't do anything. Just why aren't we scoring? Patrice, what's your plus-minus here, Bello? Still of -3. What's going on in defense here? +11, +14, +6, -2, +9, +10. The second pair is not great. Chara down to an 83 overall as well. Starting to lack a little bit. Let's try switching up Sergachev and Murray to try and jumpstart him, and Murray can distribute the wealth to Merrill. And Cal Peterson still had a good game in that one. He still had a good game in that one. So I'm going to keep him in, actually, for the next few games, and we'll see how he can do. Actually, I think we'll play Elvis against the Oilers since they're a weaker team. And we want to give Elvis a bit of 3-2 loss. Give Elvis some love. Now we're going to play against the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas, and we'll put Peterson in for this one. Elvis, man, 907 save percentage. Just keeps falling further down. This was not what I was expecting. I thought our goaltending was solid. They're 45-26-5. Cal Peterson between the pipes, and we win 4-1. Thank goodness we needed a win there to break that losing streak. Let's keep Cal Peterson in nets here, guys. I'm very thankful that he's transitioning those AHL numbers to NHL numbers, and they're able to translate like that. Let's go. against the Anaheim Ducks, who are 38-32-7. 5-2 win. Okay, Cal Peterson, let's go. And we have clinched the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. We have clinched the playoffs with still 3 more games to go in the season. Peterson's going to go up against the Penguins here on April 1st, and it's April Fools, that's for sure. 6-3 loss. Yikes, against the Penguins. Boy, oh boy. Final couple games of the season here against the Avalanche and the Predators. Against the Avalanche, we lose 3-2. That's great. Thanks, Elvis, for closing out the season on a high note. And Peterson will get the start in this one. He'll end the season with a .905 save percentage, dropped from .910 to .905 in the last since the deadline, which is not good. Peterson still at a .923 though, with a 2.05 goals against. So maybe he's the starter to start the playoffs. I don't know. But here we go against the Predators, who are 34-38-9. We're 4-5-1 in our last 10. Not really good, to say the least. First period, 3-1. There we go. Danault, Greenway, and Kaprizov waking up. Forsberg scoring for the Predators. Second period, 4-2. Luke Kunin, former Wild player who was traded for Bonino by Bill Guerin. So it's Bonino versus Kunin here, and Danault scores his second of the night as well. We're being outshot for once, but we're up 4-2. Whoever gets the lower amount of shots seems to be the team that wins out here, as we're up by 2 with 10 minutes to go in this final game of our second season at the helm of the Minnesota Wild. 5 minutes to go, and we'll call it right there. An empty netter for Patrice Bergeron to end it. 5-2 the final. Danault with 2 goals and an assist. Sergachev, 3 assists. Nice. Up on that first pair. And Greenway, the third star goal and an assist, I think. So we did not win the conference, we did not win the division, but we made the playoffs, and it was another good season here for us in Minnesota, and that is all 82 games for everybody. Perfect. So we were at 5th place at the deadline. We end up dropping down to 9th. Yeah, up to 9th with 96 points. 43, 29, and 10 was the record. We still kept up our pace of scoring, but we were letting in more goals. Power play went up by 1.1%, and penalty kill went up as well from 83 point something, I think, to 84.2. So not up by much, but still went up. And we ended up having the 5th best power play in the NHL and the 7th best penalty kill in the NHL at 84.2. So the penalty kill and the power play, the special teams performed. They gave their all. Now it's time to see the points here. Kirill Kaprizov, 56 goals and 91 points from the Russian sniper. A wonderful sophomore season from him, plus 21. Loves to shoot the puck. Just a huge piece of this franchise, and very thankful to have him locked up for another 5 seasons after this one at 7.2. Sean Monahan, over a point per game, 86 points in 82 games. New Wild franchise record in assists, actually. He had set it last season at 53, and then he broke it now at 63, as he set a career high in assists as well. Yeah, not just a Wild high, a franchise high in assists and points with 86 on the year in 82 games. Zach Parise, 77 points in 78 games, 1 point shy of point per game. Another good season since we've taken over the Wild here, maximizing him with the chemistry, also getting the 500th assist of his career, as he was looking good on the first line. Patrice Bergeron, 75 points in 80 games since he came over to Minnesota. He had 16 points in 20 games with a -3. We'll take that. We'll definitely take that. Elias Lindholm, 61 points for him, 38 in 52, a -14, which is very weird since coming here. He had 14 power play points as well. Mikhail Sergachev in his first season with us, a career high by a long shot. 10 more points in his rookie season career high, as he set career highs in goals, assists, and points with 50. Still a -2, but a very good season from him. Philip Danault, 48 points from the defensive two-way forward. Very nice season from him, 15 goals and 33 assists. He will likely not be back next season, as he's on an expiring deal, but very happy to have had him this year. Kevin Fiala, 44 points. Could have been better, but it's an improvement from last year. Still 19 goals. A little bit of an improvement. Better in the plus-minus category. I really want to keep him on this team. I want to grow him, and hopefully next season is really big for him. Ilya Kovalchuk, back on the Minnesota Wild, ended up scoring 12 points in 20 games. Similar to what he did when he came here at the deadline last year. He scored 11 points in 18 games. This time 12 and 20 with 7 goals and a -2. Mike Hoffman never scored another goal since the deadline. The fourth line minutes killed him, I guess. 43-point season for him. Wow. I know it's a big part of it is because of the fourth line, but he was playing top 6 minutes before that and still only had 11 goals. 20 less points than last year and 19 less goals. That is really, really not... wow. Actually, that's a career low. Career low in goals and points. Wow. That is just shameful. Ryan Murray in his first season here after signing in free agency, he puts up career assists and points with 4 goals and 39 assists and a plus 19. Very happy to have him. Jordan Greenway, who we also want to start growing more next season, puts up career highs in goals and points with 39 on that third line. Marcus Johansson, 20 goals and 36 points. He slowed down since going to the fourth line as well. Ryan Suter, now at the age of 37, he put up 32 points, which is lower than usual, but still a good season at a plus 12. And you definitely, you can tell he's slowing down a little bit. Still at an 88 overall. Benino, 19. Chara, 12 points and a plus 10 for now at 83 overall and 45 years of age. John Merrill, 12 points plus 11. Leon Botter in his rookie season, 5 goals, 9 points, plus 8, playing with Zdeno. He's going to have big growth over this offseason and likely be on the second pair to start next year. Goalies, Elvis really let me down, going 31, 20, and 5 at the end. Didn't look great. Still had a good season overall. Only 1 shutout, a 905 save percentage, 2.67 goals against. Not as good as last season. Not much worse, but still not as good. And Cal Peterson, really a nice surprise for us, going 3-1 and 3, 924 save percentage, 2.04 goals against. Is he our starter moving into the playoffs? That is a big question that we will have to ask ourselves. In the entire NHL, it was Connor McDavid with 102 points who led the way. Who is going to win the Rocket Richard? It is Kirill Kaprizov. In his second season, he dethrones Alex Ovechkin by 1 goal in his second NHL season. Wow, 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 wow. The 24-year-old sniper scoring 56, best in the entire NHL. Aside from McDavid, you got Eichel, Crosby, Olofsson, Ovi, Draisaitl, Matthews, Kane, Kuzi. Monahan's up there. McKinnon, Skinner, all the big boys. Big year for Ekman Larson at 74 points. Looking at all defensemen, yeah. 79 actually from John Carlson. 74 assists. What? That's crazy. Great defensive numbers from a lot of guys this year. Sheesh. And goalie category, it was Darcy Kemper leading the league in the wins with 43. If we're just looking at some of the stats here, minimum 40 games, sorting by save percentage. Darcy Kemper as well, with the best save percentage and the best goals against average. So it looks like a lock for the Vezina for Mr. Darcy this year. Robin Lehner, Marc-Andre Fleury, Bishop, Grubauer. Yeah, a lot of good names. Rookie skaters in the NHL. It was Cole Caulfield in his rookie season, putting up 54 points and 37 goals with the Montreal Canadiens at an 80 overall. Tied with him as well, though, is Vasily Podkolzin on the Vancouver Canucks, scoring 36 goals of his own as a sniper, up to 83 overall. Other created players who had their rookie season this year was Grigory Denisenko, 81 overall with the Florida Panthers. Other created players, Alex Newhook, as he put up 25 goals and 40 points. I think that's it for created players here. Yeah, the rest are all real rookies. Quinton Byfield not looking great. And, yeah, still, unfortunately, the shooting bug. Too many shots taken, even on the low shooting simulation by the created players. And in the AHL at the moment, it's Matthew Boldy with 58 points in 74 games, up to a 79 overall. Going to make the NHL next season. Same as Marco Rossi with 56, now at an 80 overall, already listed as a third-line scoring forward. Worst comes to worst, we could call him up in a pinch to play in the playoffs. McCoshen 34, which is surprising, and then Addison 33. Really drops off after Rossi with Bitton. Kovanov 31, Shaw 31, Sokolov 29. But yeah, it really drops off. Goalies in the end, Hunter Jones still had great numbers, and Kakinen looked great as well. But a great tandem 1-2 here for the Iowa Wild, as they currently hold a record of 39, 26, and 9. Also, before we head into our first round matchup here, I was just taking a look at contracts. Patrice Bergeron, if he were to come back next season, he would be wanting 7.5, which means he'd probably take around high 6.5, 6.8 million, something like that. So it would be costly. Zdeno Chara, he's not coming back. Dano, he's currently making 3.5. He wants 4.7. Doesn't want him budge on that. He'd probably take around 4 million. I don't know if I want to pay the third line center that much. Kovalchuk wanting $4 million. That's not going to happen. Kevin Fiala, though, he wants 4.1 for 1 year. If we go to 3 years, he only wants $4 million. If we go to 5 years, he wants 4.325 million. 85% of that is 3.67, so like 3.7 million right there. 3.7 million for 5 years would be great. I don't know if he'll take it, but he does want the extension. So you know what? I'm going to try this right now. I want Kevin Fiala on this team long term. I hope he will do well. If he doesn't, we can move him. But if we do keep him long term, that's a good contract to have him on. 5 years at 3.7 million. Zach Sanford, he's not coming back, and he wants 1.7. Bonino making 1.5 right now, 1.7. He's a good fourth line center, but I'm not sold on him. Some other guys down here we can deal with later on. And for goalies, Cal Peterson, he would be looking for... That's a cheap deal. That is a cheap deal. We can get him long-term as well. He starts to want... You know what? I can go 3 years. 3 years at 0.9 million. 0.85 million for Cal Peterson. If he would sign that... No, I don't know how long he's staying on this team, but that's a cheap deal right there. You can't say no to that. So let's see it. In round number 1, who will we be facing off against for the first round of our Stanley Cup repeat defense? It will be the Chicago Blackhawks. Not going to be an easy matchup. If we sim one day, do we get answers? Ooh, Cal Peterson and Kevin Fiala. Let's go. Easy right there. So at least we know that heading into next offseason. So if we don't re-sign any of these guys, that means we'll head into the offseason with $12.5 million of extension dollars available to us. So we'll deal with that later on. But Fiala and Peterson signed to those deals are really nice to have. The Hawks were 47-31-4 in the season. They were better than us in the record. They were above us in the standings. It's not going to be an easy first-round matchup, to say the least. DeBrincat, Strome, and Patty Kane still out there. Nylander, Doc, and Coyle, Kubalik, Aston Reese, Yoel Armia. We love Yoel Armia. Chiasson, Shaw, and Nordstrom. Defense, they got Keith Boquist, Bufflin, Zadorov, DeHaan, and Connor Murphy. Between the pipes, Jordan Binnington, of course, a monster when it comes to the playoffs, and Devin Dubnyk. Scratched Walmark, Enstrom, and Mark Pysyk. That's going to be tough, especially that first line. 69 points for DeBrincat. Dylan Strome had 70, and Patty Kane, 33 years old, 91 overall. He had 91 points and 47 goals. So a lot of firepower on that Chicago team. Not going to be easy to get through them. But do we keep the lines as the same? We had some struggles on the second line on the plus-minus. Do we keep the lines the same like this? What do we do with Mike Hoffman? Because he's pretty much just taking up space on the fourth line. Can we find a space for him in the top 9 maybe in the playoffs? Last year in the playoffs, he did perform when it came crunch time in the playoffs. He scored, actually, did he? 12 points in 24 games? Yeah, that's not, I'm remembering that one wrong. Only had 12 points in 24 games. He was okay, but he wasn't really instrumental. Defense like this, do we keep them like that? Maybe move out Chara, bring in Honka. I don't know. We got a lot of guys in the system. And who's starting in nets? Cal Peterson or Elvis Merzlikins? But divisional championship or not, that stuff doesn't matter. It was another successful season here in Minnesota. We made some more moves that set us up for this Stanley Cup run. And it's going to be a good series here against the Blackhawks. Starting off on the road, by the way. We don't get home ice. Starting off on the road. And to close it out here, we want to see if there are any new franchise game, rookie, any of those records here in the record book for the Wild. The only record that is continuing to grow is that of Zach Parise's franchise record in goals, now at 245 after this season. All the other records still in the process of being broken. If we're looking at any season records, we had Kirill Kaprizov getting a new franchise record in goals with 56, and a new season record in points of 91, and Sean Monahan beating the old assist record that he had set last season of 53, now with 63. So a big season in the team season records in terms of goals, points, and assists, all 3 of them being broken here in 2022. Rookie records, we only got Leon Botter, he didn't break any of them, and game records yet to be broken. So that is it for this one, my friends. Heading into the playoffs, we are looking good, but we still have some questions concerning the lineup and possibly moving into the off season. So let me know your thoughts. Very much looking forward to getting this Stanley Cup defense on the road, starting off against a very strong Chicago Blackhawks team. We did score more goals than them per game, but we also let in more goals than them per game. Both marginal numbers, but still numbers. We had the better power play and the better penalty kills, so it's just the record that they got us on. They had a really good home record, and on the road, we were better, though. So it's going to be a good matchup. Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup here. Divisional rivalry, Chicago and Minnesota. So, hey, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you are. You'll be made aware of all the uploads here. Franchise Mode, Be a Pro, the Coast to Coast Challenge, which will finish off on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, live here on the YouTube channel. We'll have Team Quebec versus Team Saskatchewan versus Team Alberta versus Team Manitoba. It's going to be a really fun one, so make sure you come by and see who will be able to claim Canadian dominance for their province. Make sure to leave a comment with your suggestions here for the lineup, whether it be in the YouTube comments or on the Discord server, link in the description. And I will see you in the next one, where we kick off the year number 2 playoffs and go for back-to-back Stanley Cups.